Welcome students for the Neet Super 5 questions. So here is our first question. The production of cucumber has increased manifold in recent years. Application of which of the following phytohormones, that is plant hormones, has resulted in this increased yield as a hormone known to produce female flowers in the plant. So what will be the answer here? So the increasing the production of cucumber. So that means the hormone when we spray that increases the more number of female flowers. So here the answer is the ethylene. So that increases the more number of female flowers in cucumber, and because of that the yield is also high. So next we proceed to the second question. So what amount of energy is released from glucose during lactic acid fermentation? So the lactic acid fermentation that is also comes under a sort of anaerobic respiration. So that means we can say that alcohol production also. But here in this case, lactic acid fermentation, we can say the energy yield is very less. So that means nearly 59 kilocalories only we get in anaerobic respiration. Whereas in aerobic respiration, we get 786. So comparatively to that, we can say the energy obtained during the lactic acid fermentation, the answer is less than 7%. So when we compare to that aerobic respiration, it is just only 59 kilocalories. So we can say it is less than 7% of the energy is obtained. The next question. If 8 Drosophila in a laboratory population of 80, so that is died during a week. So that means out of that 80 Drosophila, the 8 Drosophilas are died during a week. So what will be the death rate in the population is that is the dash individuals per Drosophila per week will die. So here we can say that, so out of this, we can say the 80 populations. So here the death rate in this Drosophila population, here we can say, so that is how we can calculate. So it can be calculated by, we can say, dividing the more number of death. That means we can say that the number of death, so meaning how many Drosophila are getting died in a week. So here the number of death, we can say it is 8, correct? So if 8 Drosophila was the question. So it is divided by the total population size. So what is the total population size here? 80. So meaning it is divided by total population size. So that means here we can say it is 80. So what will be the answer we are getting? 8 divided by 80? Obviously 0.1. So here we can say, so in a population, the 0.1 percentage of the individuals of this Drosophila per week, it is getting died. So next we proceed to the next question. So here it is a kind of life cycle in Spirogyra, fern, funaria, and then the cycas. So here we can say that, so what about the characteristic of this Spirogyra, which is the algae, the fern, which is the pteridophytes, and funaria, which is the bryophytes, and cycas, gymnosperms. Okay, so how we can match it here? So the Spirogyra here we can say, which will be having dominant haploid and then free living gametophyte. So here we can say the Spirogyra, that is a algae, that will be the plant body. Here we can say it is a gametophyte only. So gametophyte, obviously it is haploid only. The plant body, we call it as a gametophyte. And then, so the fern we can say, so that will be having the dominant sporophyte. You know that pteridophytes will be having the dominant sporophyte. Obviously, the sporophyte are diploid. So it is with a reduced gametophyte that we call it as a prothallus in the pteridophytes. And then, so in case of this Finaria, we can say that, so it will be like having the dominant haploid gametophyte. You know that bryophytes will be having dominant gametophyte and partially dependent multicellular sporophyte. And cycas, we know that it will be having the dominant diploid sporophyte. As gymnosperms, we know that like the size of this gametophyte will be getting reduced. So from like the bryophytes to gymnosperms, when we move across, the size of this gametophyte will be reduced, which will be highly reduced. So dominant will be the sporophyte. Whatever the plant body which we are seeing, the plant in either in gymnosperms or in angiosperms. So this, like we call it as what we see is a sporophyte, and what we see as a flowers or what we see as in seeds in gymnosperms. That and all, it is a highly reduced form of gametophyte. Next. So if the length of the DNA is 1.1 meter, and what will be the approximate number of base pairs? And we all know that what is the DNA structure is made up of. So the DNA structure, we know that it is made up of nucleotides. So what are nucleotides? Here we can say that it is made up of sugar, nothing but the deoxyribose. The sugar is the deoxyribose, and we know that it is made up of nitrogen base pairs and then phosphate group also. So here we can say how we can calculate that the length between the two base pairs. So here, if it is the DNA structure, if all these nitrogen base pairs are arranged like this, the length between the nucleotides here it will be like 0.34 nanometer, or else we can say it as a 3.4 into 10 to the power. So we can say that it is a 3.4 into the two nucleotides. We can say it is 0.34 nanometer. Okay, so this can be otherwise written as 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So both are same. So what is the formula for to calculate the length of this double helix DNA? So the formula for to calculate this, the length of this DNA, we can say it is the total number of base pairs. So how many total number of base pairs are present? So that is getting multiplied by distance between the two base pairs. That is internucleotide distance also we can say. So the distance between two base pairs. So now how we can calculate this? So the length that is already given as 1.1 meter. So what is the total number of base pairs? So that is only asked us a question. So we don't know that. So we make it as a x. And what about the distance between the two base pairs? Since it is given, the length is given in a meter. So we have converted the internucleotide distance also in meter. So that means x into 3.4. Here we can say that into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So we can say that approximately x to 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs. So this will be the answer. So here we can say option D. So that is 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs will be present if the length of the DNA molecule is 1.1 meter. So hope children, all these 5 questions will find you useful. So next we can wait for the next set of the 5 questions tomorrow, and subscribe and get benefited. Thank you children.